Are you feeling overwhelmed with planning different learning levels and styles in your homeschool? Let me share with you how I do it. Hello and welcome back. My name's Olivia. I feel like life got super busy lately, and I was feeling a little overwhelmed by literally every single little thing happening in my life. And I was thinking to myself, what am I doing when I feel like I've had the most productive weeks, right? What am I doing when I have the best weeks? And I thought about it besides the obvious morning routine, healthier eating, getting enough water, all that fun stuff. I was thinking about my planning habits. So if you're new here, I have two kiddos learning at different levels, and on top of that, both of them have very different learning styles. So my son prefers workbooks. He thrives with workbooks, and my daughter likes to be creative and hands-on with literally every lesson. If we're doing a phonics lesson, she wants a little alphabet set. So, on top of that, throwing our family routine into the mix, where I've said this a million times, both my husband and I work, and we're homeschooling, and we have a homestead. So throwing that into the mix, where sometimes I'm facilitating the lessons, or other times my husband is, I realized very, very quickly that my planning habits were important, and I really needed to keep them on track. I recently shared over on my Instagram about how I still like to plan even though we unschool. And I think it's super important to share because I say all the time, putting learning and homeschool styles aside, you should always do what works best for your family. So I may unschool and plan everything and use a curriculum, and some people may not, and that's totally fine. It's just whatever is going to work for you. So I just wanted to share some of my tips for planning with different levels of learning and unschooling. Okay, if you're anything like me, this first tip may take a little practice, but I promise it is super, super important. So tip number one is stay flexible when planning. And I think this is especially important for beginners, but really it fits any homeschool or family style. And basically, the whole point of homeschooling is to keep our kids from overscheduling that occurs in normal life, right? So they go to school for 7 hours. Some of them have after-school programs, and they have sports every weekend. And that's a lot for a little one, right? That's a lot on their mind, on their body. And so staying flexible with our scheduling allows them to kind of work at their own pace. It allows them to learn how to prioritize, right? Even if we don't think about it, they're kind of learning what's most important. And then it also allows you to make time for everything and anything in between. The way that I like to keep our schedule flexible is by having specific days dedicated to homeschooling. So days that I know that I have more time to facilitate or that my husband has more time to facilitate. But then also leaving an open day or two to catch up on any core work. So your language arts or your math. And it's not that language arts and math are more important than the other subjects. It's just these are the subjects that I especially want to make sure I'm not overscheduling or going too quickly with. I really want to make sure that they're retaining the information. My next tip, and probably most important tip, is to keep yourself organized. So I am type A when it comes to organizing. I honestly love it. I love when everything's together and where it needs to be and it has a home. And for homeschooling, it's really no different. I like to keep everything together by child and by subject. So this makes finding everything for both Derek and I so much easier. We're not rummaging through piles of crap trying to make sure that we have everything we need for one lesson, right? So when I'm planning, I'm actually planning by subjects, not days. So what I do is I go through each subject, and I usually start with language arts or math, the core subjects, and I fill in the entire week at once for just that subject before I move on. First of all, it just makes it easier. I'm looking at everything all laid out in one spot. But then this way I also notice if we're covering too much material in one week. So if I'm planning all of math for the week and I notice that it covers 2 different topics and like 15 pages of workbook material, I have the chance to look that over and change it, because I'm still going to put down the pages needed, but I'm always going to prioritize retention over speed. I'm not worried about completing 30 pages if he doesn't even know what he learned when it's over anyway. Okay, and my last tip is for the moms who are especially busy. Take this time to prep your extra materials or gather the supplies needed. This step is to strictly cut out any time that I need to prep during the week. So if I can get things cut out, printed out, laminated now, I don't need to do it 10 minutes before I need to do a lesson, because honestly, I don't always have time for that. So, prepping is not something that I want to do every single day. Not at all. So, like I said earlier, my daughter, she does like more hands-on activities. If I can't get out all of the things I need for that, I just try to do that the night before. But again, that goes back to, staying organized. Get your stuff together, put it all in one spot so that you can be ready. Doing it this way, I have everything I need together no matter who is facilitating it. So I can find it, my husband can find it, he's not looking through a million folders, because let's face it, we've probably all been there. He's great, love you honey. But this way it's just all ready for us. Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed by your curriculum or everything that you're doing in a week, I really encourage you to take a look at how you're planning and how you're prepping. And let me know if you have any success with these tips. I would love to hear if they help you in any way. I'd also love to hear if you come up with any that maybe you think would be helpful as well. Let me know down in the comments. And I'll leave you with me planning the rest of our week, and I will see you next Wednesday.